Welcome to Geek on Film with your host, Robbie Holmes. Welcome to episode 21 of Geek on Film, Season 3. This time I'll be talking a main review of Eddington and then two other films that I was able to see this time. One is part of the Cinema Arts Film Club for 2025, and the other is a brand new release on Mubi that I've been hearing about for a while. So let's jump into some of that. I had hoped to watch Sorry Baby by today, but it looks like it's going to be later this week for me. A lot of moving parts, so not able to land that plane. But I'm very happy with the three films that we have to discuss today. All right, let's jump into the first film, Pavements. Our friends over at IMDb have this as a documentary about the American indie band Pavement, which combines scripts with documentary images of the band and a musical mise-en-scène composed of songs from their discography. It's written and directed by Alex Ross Perry. I have this over on my Letterboxd as a 4-star and a heart movie. My review is crazy that Pavement is not one of my bands. They should have been catnip for a dejected teenager who is far from his own home, one town over from Stockton. The film is a unique approach and truly seems to capture the deeply creative and lack of caring of the band's ethos. There are so many scenes that are musical, and the film is both cringeworthy and sweet. Alex Ross Perry has created a singular movie that is both genuine, silly, and entertaining. I have been in the bag for this movie since I sort of started listening to Alex Ross Perry back in the day on The Big Picture, and he had mentioned this in one of the episodes early on that he was on an episode while the museum was open for Pavement that he had set up in New York as a pop-up museum. So I knew this was coming. And then beyond that, recently I was able to listen to the interview of Alex Ross Perry about Pavements on the second half of one of the episodes of The Big Picture. And it's unbelievably charming. He is unbelievably charming. I feel like he has this ethos and drive to create something interesting and something different. His love and affection for this band Pavement is obvious. He was charged with creating a movie that was scripted, that they didn't have to be in very much, and that was interesting, I think. And Alex took that and ran with it and was able to convince the band members to join his merry band of madness when they came together to open the museum. So they cut the ribbon on the entrance. But that doesn't at all hit on what is special about this movie. So the movie has archival footage of the band performing. It is a musical that is based on, like a jukebox musical based on their discography. There is a film inside the film that is cast and is utilizing some amazing actors to fill the roles of the band members. Like Joe Keery is playing Stephen Malkus, the lead singer of the band. It's really fun and funny and charming. And then you have this entire lead up to their final set of performances. They haven't performed together in 20 years. And he records all of that footage. That was the other thing Alex said, is he wanted to be able to record the setup and the practices up to the performances and then the performances. It's so beautiful. It's well done. It is moving. It is silly. It is genuinely breaking and heart aching to see how much this band was not acknowledged in its time. Like I said, I don't know how I didn't end up being an acolyte of Pavement. I was literally in Lodi, California, one town away from Stockton, which is where two of the band members are from. And they're both like lack of caring about how people perceive them and their talent and their unassuming nature, because it seemed like it was easier maybe to not care than to get hurt if people didn't like it and you really tried, is everywhere in this film. And I feel like we all went through some semblance of that. I think Gen X is littered with people who that is their ethos, myself included at times. So I loved this movie. I think everybody should see it. It's on Mubi. There's no way to describe it. I couldn't spoil this movie for you. All I can tell you is it's great. And if it is going to be submitted as a documentary, it will probably be on my short list of documentaries for the year. It's fantastic. You should go see it. Again, it's on Mubi in the US. Second movie that I saw that I'm talking about this week is a movie called Folk Tales. So, Folk Tales, teenagers attend a folk high school in Arctic Norway, relying on themselves, peers, and sled dogs as they navigate the path to adulthood and uncharted personal growth. I have this as over on Letterboxd, 4 stars and a heart. It's a good week for me. A really compelling and moving film about a year at a folk school focused on 3 students learning not just to survive, but thrive on their own, taking care of themselves and a dog. Great storytelling and editing, pulling a great set of narratives. There's a quote in the movie that is repeated over and over again, that the 3 things that someone should learn and be able to do as a member of community is knowledge, wisdom, and how to tell a story. That's what they're trying to be taught. It is fantastic. I saw this at the Cinema Arts Theater in Fairfax as part of the film club, and I was really blown away by this documentary. It's so beautiful. It is so genuine. It's vulnerable. These schools apparently have been in existence for a really long time. It opens up basically talking about treating it a little bit like a gap year, but then you realize it's not that. It's like finishing school for kids on how to be an entry level adult. It's really amazing. The connection that the kids have with the sled dogs and the care that the instructors have for the psyche and the humanity of their students, and how much love the sled dogs go through, even though they're working dogs, and you can see what these kids are learning through every aspect of what they're going through. There are so many good aspects of this film. It is directed by Heidi Ewing and Rachel Grady. And if those names seem at all familiar, it's because they also did the documentary Oscar nominated Jesus Camp. I would highly expect that this will be nominated for Best Documentary this year. I can't see a time where this wouldn't hit on enough heartstrings and isn't good enough to be considered. At least a long list. It's really beautiful. Apparently, it was at Sundance, and I didn't get to see it, so I'm glad I got to see it here. I'm thankful for the film club and for it exposing me to yet another film I didn't see on my own. If you get a chance to see this, you should. If you live near a local theater that is old school, that shows art films, you should check it out and see what they're playing this week. You never know what you're going to run into. So, Folk Tales does not have distribution yet. It is not yet on streaming, as far as I can tell. Good luck. You should see this film. All right, going to jump over to Eddington. So, our friends at IMDb have this as: in May of 2020, a standoff between a small town sheriff and a mayor sparks a powder keg as neighbor is pitted against neighbor in Eddington, New Mexico. It is written and directed by Ari Aster. I had this originally as 3.5 stars with no heart. I am coming around on this film. I think at this point it might even be 4 stars, and that heart might be flickering on and off. What I wrote when I watched it was still processing this vast and deep film full of how people with strong opinions and good intentions can be both right and wrong and neither. I said to my wife that I think Joaquin Phoenix is the king of films that I admire. He's great in, and I don't ever want to see you again. That being said, I definitely need to rewatch this film, likely at home once the dust settles. Not sure how I'm going to review this on the podcast. So here we are. I'm going to try to review this film on the podcast. Let's jump into how the story goes. So the movie opens with an unhoused man coming into town and walking past the power for what is going to become data centers that are right inside of Eddington's border. And this is sort of Ari Aster creating as many breadcrumbs as he can for where the story is about to go. There are a lot of people I feel like are out on Ari Aster and think he is just a snooty smarty pants who doesn't make movies that matter. I am the other way around. I am a person who believes that every decision he's making in these movies means something. And I think he is an amazing auteur who has a fantastic vision for the story he's trying to tell. And I wish that more people would open their eyes and be open to the type of storytelling he's giving us. So we then meet Sheriff Joe Cross, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and his wife is played by Emma Stone, Louise Cross, and his mother-in-law is Deidre O'Connell, Dawn, and they're living. She is living in their home. This opens in May of 2020, in the middle of the pandemic. There's a couple of there's Luke Grimes playing Guy and Michael Ward playing Michael, and they are two of the sheriff's deputies. You have Pedro Pascal playing Ted Garcia, the mayor of the town. His son is played by Matt Gomez Hadaki, Eric Garcia. So many individual little pieces of this story that are awesome and fun. I will mention that we have in a small character role Austin Butler playing Vernon, who is sort of a modern day preacher on the internet, and yeah, it's very complicated. So there is the tension between Joe Cross and Ted Garcia, the sheriff and the mayor, about the mask mandates. You can see the movie opens with Joe, the sheriff, watching a video about how to convince your significant other to have a child. So you can see he's losing control, it seems like, in his home. He doesn't have a lot of control over what's happening there. Louise has some trauma in her past that is having her step further and further out of society. His mother-in-law, Dawn, played by Deidre O'Connell, who is unbelievable in this movie, and I would be very surprised if she doesn't get a Best Supporting Actress nom, is sort of a conspiracy theorist who is constantly ranting and raving and printing things out, even though she sends it off first digitally, and you get this sense that he is frustrated. Oh, and initially he passes a store and there's a man being stopped from going into a store for not wearing a mask. And we all experienced and lived through some aspect of this in the pandemic. And he is mad about the fact that the masks, this person is saying they can't breathe. You have to treat him as a human. Don't take away his livelihood, his ability to eat. The pandemic has already taken away so much. And then he's ranting that there's no COVID in Eddington. And you see this confrontation slowly unfolding, and then Ted Garcia is there, and he has this confrontation with Joe Cross, the sheriff, and eventually gets called to go to Ted's bar where they're holding an impromptu meeting of the city council, and the unhoused man is there. And as Joe Cross pulls up, there are some kids in the street and they're recording, and he and Ted scream at each other or talk past one another through the window while the unhoused man is trying to get into the place. And you can see this is sort of a really amazing metaphor for what we were all doing, and having people talk through a piece of glass right past one another, not hearing one another, not acknowledging what the other person is saying, just each one of them having their own position as to what should happen. And both of them ignoring the needs of this unhoused man. Neither Ted, as the mayor, taking care of somebody in his town, or the sheriff coming to the aid of somebody who's in his town who needs help. So it's amazing. The metaphor is like unbelievably on the nose and also extremely subtle. And then you see Joe Cross, eventually the unhoused man breaks into the bar. Joe Cross has to go in after him, and they end up tussling on the floor. You hear the unhoused man coughing, and the kids record this. And so this goes up online and becomes a part of future storyline stuff. So much going on in this movie, so many little beats that are so important early on. I'm really looking forward to watching this movie again. I will tell you, this is an uncomfortable movie. There's no surprises here. Ari Aster makes movies that are uncomfortable, but they're worthwhile and they're worth making. And I really have a huge amount of affection for what he does. And I think this movie is slowly growing on me as the perfect mirror being held up to society and to us all, even the viewers of his film. At one point, there's a group of kids, mostly white kids, who are basically protesting around town, and they are kneeling because George Floyd's death happens right at the time period that this is starting, and they're kneeling for the amount of time that a police officer had kneeled on George Floyd's neck. And as this is happening, the unhoused man is coming up into this group of people and they are ignoring him. So here are these kids who are supposedly empathetic to other people's needs, and they're ignoring somebody who needs their help right in front of them. Like I'm truly impressed by what Ari Aster is able to pull off in this film. I can't say that I love the movie; it is too uncomfortable to love. But boy, I can see what he's doing, and it works on me. I am all in. I've bought in on Ari Aster. He got me to watch Hereditary and Midsommar and Beau is Afraid, and I'm in, man. I'm in. If his name is on a movie, I am excited to watch it. I know I'm going to be uncomfortable. I know it's not going to be fun, but it is going to be interesting and it's going to be different. And he's going to have a take. I will leave it there. I think you should go see this movie if you can. I would really like you to see it if you can with other people. I think the reaction of an audience is really going to be helpful in this. There are some moments that are cringeworthy. There are some moments that are chuckle worthy. There are some very difficult moments in the movie. And I think one of the interesting pieces of this movie is Ari Aster sets you into a movie of people that you both can understand and maybe not agree with. And then he sort of leaves you in their world. So you're now complicit to what you're seeing and feeling. And you are now part of the story. And he never lets you off the hook. And I think that's the thing about his style of storytelling that works for me. I am not dissuaded from discomfort in film watching, but I can see why this is an important way of his telling a story. That's it. I'm going to stop there. I don't want to spoil this movie, even though I really do think it's unspoilable. I would really like people to go see this movie. If you get a chance, see Pavements on Mubi. It's fantastic. I couldn't. And also listen to The Big Picture and all of his interviews with Alex Ross Perry. They're always fun. But the one about Pavements is really heartwarming. And really, it's everybody cares there. Amanda and Sean are good friends with Alex. And Alex is very excited about the fact that he got to make this movie. It's super, super, super charming and very sweet. And I'm going to leave everybody with some homework. Go see Eddington before it leaves the theater. It is worth your time. It is worth you thinking about it. And it is worth you diagnosing what you feel after a movie like this. All right. Go see films. Robbie the Geek everywhere online. Geek on Film. Remember, on YouTube, on all of your podcast streaming apps, wherever you're hearing this, please rate and review. It's very beneficial, especially on Apple Podcasts, especially on Spotify. I look forward to your feedback. You can totally disagree with me. Let me know. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye. This has been a Geek on Film podcast. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.